perception that some people view it there in Nepal, or the people in Nepal view the situation like that. Some people in India view the situation like that. That India behaves like a, when I say India, I'm not talking of Indian people, I'm talking of governance, behaves like a big brother. It's not only question of perception. It's also historically sometimes question of behavior on the part of Indian regime also. So we are very clear on that. And that is why we feel, yes, good relationship between two neighbors. Yes, it has to be relationship between equal two partners. It doesn't matter what is your population size, how big is the country geographically, or how big is the country population wise. The issue is very clear, it's two sovereign nations. So relationship between two sovereign nations has to be on that basis. In last 7 years, I visited Nepal for almost 25 times. But from last year, I haven't been there. It's almost about, I think about for last 8 months, I didn't go there. The time when the killings happened, I was, immediately after that I had visited. I'm talking of killing of the previous Raja and his family. And after that, when I visited Nepal, I was wondering, the day a spark will begin, I knew, I felt, very strongly I felt, the day a spark will begin, very strong movement in Nepal is going to come out. I had that feeling because I was interacting not with politicians alone. I was interacting with the commoners in Nepal. A taxi driver, a vendor, a shopkeeper, everybody. And from those commoners whom I was talking to as a commoner, not as somebody known to be a politician or this thing. So I had very strong feeling. It so happened that my son got admission in Manipal Medical College in Pokhara. And because of that also I was making personal visits, just as a simple parent. And out of my habit I was talking to everybody as a common woman. Some woman from India has come and is inquiring about it. And I had strong feeling that this Raja will be thrown away by the people and democratic movement, just people should get an opportunity. And my son was there when those days when there was no communication between India and Nepal. And other parents of other children were also depending on me to get some news. If the children are safe, is what it, because Pokhara was one of the very, very strong area of activities also and concentration. But from talking to people, of course I agree, Indian and Nepalese people, they want friendship, they had friendship and that has to continue. But time and again, vested interests in both the sides definitely have their own game plans about which we should be wary about. I have not forgotten the situation when it was on the verge of it that the democracy will be restored. It was on verge of it that Raja is going to go. At that time, Indian government tried to send its emissary with an understanding how monarch can be saved. We cannot forget these facts. And we in the left were very alert, were very angry, and we immediately had to talk to government and put forth our opinion that don't try to meddle into this thing when the people of Nepal are on move and they want democracy. Prior to that, all of us were together there in Vittalbhai Patel House, I remember till today, when most of the leaders had come from Nepal, were here in India. Many of the friends were giving shelter to many of the friends, as I could also offer to some, and during those difficult period of in the life of Nepali people, some were my friend. You see, I also could extend some help. During that period, also we were very clear that it's the political forces of Nepal. It is they who will find solution. It is they who should go back, and it is they who should see to it that the king doesn't try to play between Maoist and the other political parties. I have been in the trade union movement. That's why I'm telling you how we are working in close relationship. And when I was in the women's movement, I can tell you that women organizations also interact very well and get the feedback from there, and we give the feedback how we feel for them and we want Nepal. And especially this whole process of democratic transformations, we really feel that this has to be carried forward further. Now you commented on, and these friends commented on, our media is not giving space to Nepal news. It's one comment is what Nayarji said, that generally the media in India, for any news, they look towards what our, you see, MEA is telling, or some news is coming from their version. But sometimes our media talks other than that also. This is also true. As far as Nepal is concerned, it seems to be policy of those who are controlling media. Because their perception also continues, as all of you were trying to say, especially when Kuldeepji was saying, "Yahan Nepal to hai hi." It's there. That approach is there in the minds of those also who are in control of media. So it is something to do, as far as I'm talking of mainstream media, I'm talking about, that also gets reflected how much they have to give on Nepal. But then there is, other than that media, there is a media, Sumit ji represents that kind of media, which does give space, which can be used, and the things reach the media of political parties, those who are friendly to Nepal, then the other media which is not through any political stream. I think you people should try to use that media. That media reaches the intelligentsia of India. They read that media, and through them this what you want to say should come up as much possible. This is true that the efforts have been made to show as if all Nepalis are against India. It is true the efforts are made to show as if all India is only trying to squeeze Nepal or is against Nepal. This myth should be broken in any case, and more people-to-people friendship should be developed. But lastly, I must tell you, democratic transformation must succeed. We are very, very seriously looking at it. We are very feeling a pain when we found that 2 years are going to end and nothing has come out. 1 year extension, we took a sigh of relief. But now again, stalemate, we are very much worried. We are as much worried as what you people are worried why this process is not coming through. Because it's very, very important that this democratic transformation must continue. And it's not something which Kuldeepji said his friend told, and Seema said, was he pro-Indian fellow? It is a conscious effort of some people in Nepal and of some forces in India who want this stalemate to continue, rather deterioration to take place, and somehow to sneak in the idea that monarchy is the only way to keep Nepal as stable. We should not forget that when secular credentials are being established in Nepal, it is not comfortable to the communal and fanatics in India. And they have, in our country, openly openly supported monarch to come back. Indian government does change position immediately when the pressure comes. Okay, yes. They have to do something in Nepal. But there are forces speaking for that. So we should not forget that thing. So I think from that point of view, we would not like to be seen as interfering people, but we would definitely would like to be seen as assisting this process in the sense of bringing people more closer to each other, and if any kind of wrong things are talked about Nepal, clarifying. If any interference from government in the wrong direction happens, pressurizing our government not to do that. If any wrong demands are raised from here about Nepal, countering it here. When some forces tried to tell here, monarch को वापस लाना चाहिए वहाँ, we immediately came out openly and said कि तुम अपना घर देखो, क्योंकि तुम वहाँ उनके secular credentials को नहीं देखना चाहते हो और हिंदुत्व की बात करते हो. So we immediately. So what we can do here, which helps Nepalese process of going to democratic transformations, we should be seen as doing here. And only what is asked from us as assistance, we seem to be doing that, not poking our nose unnecessarily. Then only those kinds of perceptions which are built up about India can be tackled about. That is all I would like to say at this juncture. Thank you.
I only to say 2 points. There are several types of tragedies, and the tragic consequences are also known. But I see Nepal, the development of Nepal from 1948 to today, as a unique type of tragedy. I'm not saying tragic, but it's a unique type of tragedy. From a backward feudal system, a kangaroo leap into liberal democracy has been the history of the world from the United States of America, which is not feudal. Transformation has been over centuries, over hundreds of 100 years. But Nepal has a challenge to capsulate that transformation of hundreds of years into few years. And therefore the problem of Nepal lies in moving from feudal backwardness into liberal democracy within a short period of time. This factor has to be considered when we talk of Nepal, and this is unique. This is point number 1. Point number 2 is that when we accept this uniqueness, the language, the theory, and the perspectives which, whether it is Indian democracy, whether it is American democracy, or European democracy, does not arise. Therefore, there is a breakdown of language communication when we are dealing with a unique situation in Nepal. Any attempt to do so seems to me like not blind men here, but wise men trying to define an elephant in terms of its parts. So the challenge is much deeper, rather in terms of democratic transformation immediately from this point of view. And my understanding is neither Nepalese leadership, the tallest of them, nor the Indian leadership, the tallest of them, including Nehru, have been able to perceive this historical uniqueness of Nepalese development. And one has to go back to this before we start giving prescriptions and possibility of answers to the Nepalese. This is all that I have to say. Thank you.
The 3 previous speakers, Kuldeep ji, Amarjit, and Devdutt ji, whatever they said, one thing I would like to summarize here, that if this constitution making process fails, then it will be a big blow not only to Nepalese democracy but to Indian democracy as well. And this we understand, at least some of us here, that what was the strength of the UICL? About 15,000? Somewhere around 15,000 or so. They all wanted to be integrated into the armed forces, and that was denied. Now, the question is, has there been any change since then? Or are they wanting to remain outside if all of them are not integrated? this is a very vital question, because when we were there, we were in part of a international media support group in 2009, and that time this thing was being talked about. And also, since media people are here from Nepal, I would like to raise this question also. You see, there has been, at least at that time, a lot of attacks on journalists, the media houses. And there was one Maoist leader who had gone around saying that controlled chaos on anarchy is in the interest of revolution. Now, as you have correctly said, that this is the position now which they have said, that anarchy and instability help Maoists to consolidate power for further revolution in People's Republic. This is what a statement of the Maoist leadership has come. Now, this question of attack on journalists we raised with the Prime Minister. Prachanda was the Prime Minister at that time, and he tried to explain it in a different way, that look, there are many people who go around claiming that they are Maoists, but they are not Maoists, they are trying to discredit the Maoists. This is what his reply was. Now, I want to know whether in these, whatever other developments have taken place, we know, but whether in these few years, 2 years, has there been any deterioration in the situation, or is it slightly better than before? Achha. The other thing, when we speak of India and Nepal, now there is this anti-corruption movement in India. We have come to know from Indian Express, Yuvraj has written about it, that there was this Darfur scam, that there has been a major scam in Nepal, and there is an anti-corruption movement also. And he has said, now this is very interesting, over the past 5 years, development funds have been reportedly funneled to political parties to hold their annual conferences. Major appointments in constitutional bodies and diplomatic missions have been taken over by the big 3 parties. Moreover, militant youth organizations like the Young Communist League and the Youth Force, affiliated to CPN-UML and CPN-UML respectively, decisively influence the award of major construction bids and contracts. They allegedly take a huge cut, which ultimately reaches the party coffers. Now, this is something which is not unique, because this is what is happening in our part of the country as well. So, I would like to know if you could throw some light on these developments, and what is the state. Of course, we know that the situation is extremely complex, and we know that there are differences within the Maoist leadership. But whether the Maoists are hell-bent on setting up a People's Republic, which is a one-party kind of state, or whether they have reconciled to some form of parliamentary democracy. I would like to be enlightened on that.
I think regarding media concern raised by Sir, I think Arkan said we will reply.
Sir, the question should have been actually put to Mr. Oli, because just a week back, one of our very senior journalists based in Biratnagar was attacked not by the Maoist cadres but by the UML's youth force. And it has been a very big issue. We have been pressing for the party to take decisions. They have not taken any decisions. They've said that they've directed the youth force to hand over this person who attacked the journalist. But they have been surviving under political, they've been protected by the same politicians. And I'm waiting to meet Mr. Oli and put this question to him. So it is, my answer would be, it is happening, especially the women journalists in Nepal have been threatened, attacked,
Killed also.
killed also, yes. And this is continuing. Probably the lawlessness is at the peak right now. Now, you raised a question about the PLA integration. Unfortunately, no, he meant PLA.
He said
YCL, no PL.
YCL is dissolved, already dissolved.
Unfortunately, the answer is no. we have not made any significant progress, and that is what we are worried, and that is what we're trying to say. And especially the media and civil society has taken this up very seriously. As far as the integration is concerned, nothing significant happened. No political consensus emerged in 2 years. That is why the Constituent Assembly deadline had to be extended twice. Last week, as I had mentioned, I think you were not there when I started. Last week, some kind of understanding within the political parties did come about. The Maoists had said that they are willing to accept the Nepal Army's package, which is forming a separate directorate of these verified combatants inside Army. But now the details have not been given, and Nepali Congress has already said 2 days early that they will not accept any negotiation between Nepal Army and Maoists. So, well, the integration has not happened. And as far as the rehabilitation package is concerned, the parties are still debating.
My Nepalese friends and also some our Indian friends here this evening. I've had the opportunity to visit Nepal twice during this struggle, and I was in the delegation which was being battered by the loyalist forces when we went there with Sitaram Yechuri and Dheeraj and all was there. Since then, a lot of water has flown into whatever you may say in Ganges. But here I would not like to go into the history or repeat what has been said. I would like to pinpoint what could be the role that we have played from India at that point of time. And after 3 years, during these 3 years, we have not been able to play any constructive role in helping the drafting of the constitution or resolving the internal conflict or crisis. And also, I would like to know what is the main impediment. We have been discussing various alternatives. So what is the main political force which is as an obstacle, playing a role of obstacle in drafting the constitution and integrating forces? If the Maoists say something at one point and does a completely different thing other, then it's very difficult to come out any democratic transformation. As our friend, very senior, respected colleague Devdatti has said, that it is theoretically there is a transformation from feudal to liberal democracy. I think the crisis is transformed from feudal to radical democracy. Just one step ahead. Is it possible in a economically backward, less developed, industrialized country to have this kind of, theoretically I'm asking this question, to jump from a feudal setup mind into radical democracy? And what are the agenda of radical democracy and liberal democracy? Why they are not coming together? But again, coming to the point, what could the Indian civil society, civil society of India, could play a role the time which is left now in the entire process? How could be a dialogue between the government and the civil society at both the ends, and to help out the process? Let us think about all these things here and try to find out some kind of thing than to go again repeating all those things that has happened earlier, like Nepal, Big Brother and all these things. Because these are not the things that is impending the solution. Or either India's Big Brother thing, or it is purely the crisis of Nepali people, Nepal leadership.
नेपाल से अपना सीधा लगाव है, और खासकर 2006 से जब मधेश मूवमेंट शुरू हुआ तो नेपाल लगातार जाना आना रहा, और वहाँ भी अपने सारे मित्र हैं। जहाँ तक वारों का प्रश्न है, तो मैं स्वयं 1990 से 2011 तक अगर प्रति वर्ष 10 से 15 भी लिखा हूँ, तो 250 से 300 आर्टिकल तो मैंने स्वयं भी लिखा होगा।
जी कंटिन्यू।
केपी शर्मा ओली जी आ गए, हम सभी इनका स्वागत करते हैं। और उनके साथ भी 2 बार मैं काठमांडू में मंच पर रहा हूँ। एक बार तो 1857 की क्रांति का वो मनाया जा रहा था, हम सब लोग साथी थे, और उस समय भी माओवादियों ने उस कार्यक्रम का बायकॉट किया था। हम लोगों को याद है कि जुलूस निकालने के लिए सारे पेट्रोल पंप पर बैन लगाया था कि गाड़ियों को पेट्रोल नहीं दी जाए, और ऐसा हुआ था। कई बार हम जो यहाँ बातचीत हो रही है उससे भारत एक खलनायक बन के और खड़ा होता है नेपाल के संदर्भ में। थोड़ा बहुत सच है इसमें, क्योंकि जब पड़ोस में एक छोटा देश है तो हम अगर सुझाव भी देते हैं तो कई बार लगता है कि हम पर अपना विचार आरोपित किया जाता है, और ये मानसिकता, और इसको मैं नेपाल में भी बोलता हूँ कि भारत को इसको सहने की क्षमता हमारे अपने अंदर डालनी चाहिए कि इतना उसमें होता है। लेकिन यहाँ इस प्रकार से बातें हो रही है, मैं पूछता हूँ कि इस समय जो नेपाल की हालत है उसमें भारत के पैसे से कोई पुल बन रहा है, उसमें भारत और नेपाल का झंडा है तो भारत के झंडे पर कालिख पोत दिया जाता है, लेकिन चीन के झंडे पर अगर कहीं है तो नेपाल में कालिख नहीं पोता जाता। तो ये भारत के लोग अगर बात करते हैं तो ये दोनों बातों का ध्यान रखना चाहिए। अभी मधेश की एक महिला 2 साल पहले, क्योंकि तिब्बत का जो आंदोलन चल रहा था तो हम लोगों के जो हम मित्र थे, हमने कहा कि भाई उन लोगों को अपनी बात रखने दीजिए, आप लोग उनको मारते पीटते हैं या रोकते हैं, ठीक नहीं है। तो वहाँ के विदेश मंत्री उन्होंने कहा कि देखिए शरणार्थियों को हमारे देश में कोई प्रदर्शन नहीं करने दें। और मेरा मानना यह है कि यहाँ हम सब लोग दिल्ली में बैठे हुए भले नेपाल के बारे में नहीं चिंता करते हो, लेकिन पूरा भोजपुर, बज्जिका और जो मिथिला का क्षेत्र है वो बहुत दूर तक नेपाल के उस क्षेत्र के अखबारों में नेपाल की भी पूरी खबरें होती है, नेपाल पर लोग बहस भी करते हैं। और ऐसा ही कार्यक्रम अगर कहीं वहां आप कर दें किसी हॉल में तो 1000-2000 की संख्या ऐसे भी उपस्थित हो जाती है। तो वो उस क्षेत्र में ऐसा नहीं है कि भारत में नेपाल को लेकर कोई कंसर्न नहीं है, मैं इससे भी सहमत नहीं हूँ। और इस समय हम जानते हैं कि नेपाल ऐसे समय परिवर्तन के दौर में है जब ठीक है, ये तो है ही है, ये इनका एक है कि माओवादी पार्टी का 20 साल से कोई आम सभा नहीं बुलाई गई, प्रचंड पर वित्तीय अनियमितता का भी आरोप है, नहीं उस पर मैं नहीं जाऊंगा, प्रचंड भी अपना काम करते हैं। इस समय दुनिया, इस समय जिस क्राइसिस दुनिया एक संक्रांतिकालीन दौर से गुजर रही है, भारत में भी हम देख रहे हैं। इसलिए नेपाल का जो संकट है उसको केवल इस ऐसे देखना कि वो नेपाल का कोई अलग संकट नहीं है। जब दुनिया के सारे बड़े देश अपने ही समस्याओं में उलझे हैं, उस समय नेपाल जैसा देश अगर एक पुरानी राजशाही से उबर के आने की कोशिश करता है तो उसमें कठिनाइयां आएंगी, उसमें समय लगेगा। और इसको मैं कोई बहुत ऐसा नहीं मानता हूं कोई अजूबा हो रहा है। और नेपाल के लोगों से भी बात करता हूं तो बड़ा एटीज होकर बात करते हैं। जैसे हमारे मित्र लोग वहां कहते हैं देखिए ऐसा है कि नेपाल हमारा छोटा देश जरूर है, लेकिन आपके देश से ज्यादा यहाँ बहस करने वाले, एक एक बात पर विवाद करने वाले हैं, इसलिए ऐसा चलेगा, आप लोग ज्यादा इसकी चिंता मत करिए। लेकिन फिर भी हमारी शुभकामना है और मेरी स्वयं भी कोशिश है, और मैं चाहता हूं कि नेपाल के अनुरूप संविधान बना के, और जैसा यहाँ कहा जा रहा है वो एक पक्षीय कोई संविधान न बने, नेपाल की जन भावनाओं के अनुरूप, और उसमें रखते हुए कि भारत और नेपाल के बीच एक सांस्कृतिक एकता रही है, इसको मैं कभी नहीं नकारता हूँ। यहाँ रिलीजन को लेकर बहुत सारी बातें हुई। अगर नेपाल में ये कहा जाता है कि वाराणसी में मरना सबसे बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण का काम है और उसके लिए पहले से वहाँ की सरकार धन देती रही है, और भारत के लोग सोचते रहे कि जब तक हम पशुपतिनाथ का दर्शन न करें तब तक हमारा जीवन जो है सफल नहीं होगा, और भारत के दक्षिण के पंडित को नेपाल के पशुपतिनाथ में भेजना और नेपाल के पुजारियों का भारत में रहना, ये जो सांस्कृतिक एकता है इसका भी अपना महत्व है। इसको गैर सेकुलर या पिछड़ापन या फ्यूडल कैरेक्टर के रूप में देखना मैं समझता हूँ कि ये उचित भी नहीं है, और नेपाल जैसे देश के साथ भी अन्याय होगा कि उसको पूरी तरह एक वेस्टर्न लिबरल कल्चर मॉडल के रूप में हम विकसित करते हुए देखें, इसमें नेपाल का भी भला नहीं है। धन्यवाद।
Sharma Oli is former Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal. Thank you for being here, sir. And I also, welcome Professor Ashish Nandi. I just see him. Now, I think I have one friend, Govindaji. Before that, I think Oliji, I request Oliji to deliver his speech.
आज मैं बहुत खुश हूँ कि साथियों से फिर मिलने का ये अवसर मिला। मिलाने वालों को धन्यवाद देता हूँ मैं, संस्था और व्यक्ति। Particularly, Nepal is passing through a very complicated type of transitional phase. ट्रांजिशनल फेज, इस ट्रांजिशनल फेज में हमारे दो टास्क हैं which we have to complete. One, we abolish the monarchy and we have to institutionalize the republican state. अब हमारा ये नया रिपब्लिकन कैसा होगा? पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम और उसके अंदर दूसरे शासक के स्वरूप कैसा होगा, राज्य का रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग कैसा होगा, कैसे प्रकार के संस्थाएं होंगी, उनका अधिकार और कर्तव्य कैसा होगा, डेमोक्रेटिक के बेसिक थिंग्स को हम कैसे वहां रखेंगे, इस चीज को। दूसरा, जैसे कि हमने 2006 अप्रैल का पीसफुल मास मूवमेंट, ज्वाइंट मास मूवमेंट किया, उसके सामने दो मकसद थे। एक, राजतंत्र ने फिर से देश को तानाशाहीकरण की ओर ले जाने के लिए जो कोशिश किया था और ये फरवरी 1 का इंसिडेंट करवाया, उसको हटाना और देश को राजतंत्र से मुक्त कराकर, फ्यूडलिज्म से मुक्त कराकर एक डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री के रूप में एस्टैब्लिश कराना। It was one task. And another, the Maoist violence, which was started from the beginning of 1996 in the name of revolution against the democratic system, against the democratic institutions and government. The monarchy at that time was constitutionalized. It was constitutional one. It was not an autocratic monarchy. After 1991, monarchy was constitutional. And the Maoist movement was not started after the February 1st of the step of February 1st. It was started when there was an elected democratic government under the democratic constitution, under the democratic system, and immediately after a government, when the international communist and socialist movement was facing a severe setback after the incidents of Soviet Union and the Eastern Europe. At that time, Communist Party of Nepal, UML, achieved the victory through the elections and formed a single government at the capacity of major party of the country. And it was very popular government. And it was proved that political, economic, social and other changes, it was possible to materialize through peaceful means and ways, because the constitutional and peaceful means and ways were available. We could use. And election के माध्यम से ये तो practically it was proved. Then unnecessarily and harmfully, Maoists started violence in the name of revolution. It was nothing else than the extremist, ultra-leftist ideology. Nothing else. मुझे कहने की आवश्यकता नहीं है, लगता है कि that series of violence took 17,000 people's lives unnecessarily and destroyed so many structures and affected very, very negatively to the development the process was about stopped. And we had to end the so-called revolution. Or in the name of revolution, which violence was taking place, we had to stop that and we had to settle that problem peacefully. हम लोगों ने देखा है कि कई जगह में ऐसे होते हैं मगर इस कदर का पीसफुल सेटलमेंट इस पेशेंस के साथ नहीं हुआ है, तो हम लोगों ने कोशिश किया। ये 2006 के अप्रैल मूवमेंट के सामने ये दूसरा एंड बट परहैप्स मोर इम्पोर्टेंट टास्क यह था इसको अंत करना। 3 years before, monarchy was abolished, and now we have to institutionalize the republic. And 5 years ago, after the success of the peaceful movement of 2006 April, ceasefire took place and a new peace process was started. The peace process is still going on, it is continuing. And we are hopeful that we can conclude the peace process with good results.